Commissioner Mark,
Here.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Howard,
Here.
Commissioner Hunt,
Here.
Vice Chairman Booker,
Here.
Chairman Jones.
Here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, please let's stand together as Mr. Grady will lead us in prayer. I ask you to remain standing after that for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we honor you today in prayer and thanksgiving. We pray for our county commissioners and all who represent Craven County. Grant them peace that passes all understanding and amazing grace to sustain them when days are long and rest is short. Father, you are our refuge and fortress. You provide everything we need for life and godliness. You hear our ardent intercession and smile when we raise our voices in praise and worship. We thank you for your presence, love, and grace. It is in your almighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, and we welcome each of you here this morning to your meeting, the Commissioners' meeting. To those who may be viewing online, we also welcome you. To those who are in attendance today, I would ask that we would make sure that our cell phones are silenced to not disrupt the meeting. We would appreciate it. Commissioners, you have before you your agenda packet. Are there any agenda items that you desire to add or to pull from today's agenda?
Make a motion to accept the agenda as is.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the agenda as is. I would ask Commissioner Mark, Commissioner Mitchell, if you would include in that items 11 and 12. It's not a big deal, but we do need to switch those. We need to have the closed session first and then come back for item 11. Would you include that in your motion?
So be it.
Okay.
So amended.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hear none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. Next item is the consent agenda. You have there the minutes of April the 1st, 2023 regular session, the tax releases and refunds, and then a garage budget amendment. Are there any consent agenda items that you desire to pull?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as is. Any discussion on the motion? Hear none, Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes, thank you. Item 2 is Boys and Girls Club of the Coastal Plains presentation. We have this morning with us Ms. Nix, who is the Programming and Operations Vice President. Good morning. You can come right here to the podium here. Glad to have you with us today.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to present to you who we are as Boys and Girls Club Coastal Plain. I'm serving Craven County. My name is Dre Nix, and I'm the Senior VP of Operations and Programs for Boys and Girls Club Coastal Plain. Right now, my responsibility is overseeing the 3 clubs here in Craven County, the Carteret County clubs and Beaufort County. As an organization, we serve 7 counties here in North Carolina, and there's a total of 17 clubs, of which 8 of those are my responsibility, along with providing support. Your support as county commissioners here in Craven County has been extremely important to us and the mission of Boys and Girls Club here in Craven County. I actually had the pleasure of opening the Havelock Club way back in 2004. Military has taken me away, but I always seem to come back to Boys and Girls Club here in New Bern and Havelock and North Carolina in general. Now we are 7 years in with 2 clubs here in New Bern, so a total of 3 clubs. You were sent an update on the funding that we received from you last year. Thank you so much, because it has been instrumental in the daily operations of our clubs. As you know, like everyone else, we're having to make adjustments in our daily operations with our members, but we serve members ages 6 through 18, Monday through Friday, with summer camps as well. Our fee for the past year has been $25 for a member to attend the Boys and Girls Club. When these members attend the club on a typical after-school program there from 3 to 6, or in our teen centers like we have here in New Bern, they're here until 7. Our standalone club in Havelock, where everyone is served in that building, they're there until 7 o'clock. These members are provided an opportunity with homework help. They're given the opportunity to do activities with healthy lifestyles. They're also fed a hot meal every day. They're given a snack before they leave the club as well. Your support has helped us make sure that we maintain this. Our goal this year is to serve 400 members at our clubs here in Craven County. We're about 173 kids short of that goal now, but we just started our summer camp, and that's where we find that we're needed the most in our community because of the population that we serve. Here in New Bern, we see on average about 35 to 40 middle schoolers during the summer that are there Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning until 5:30 in the afternoon. It's an amazing program. Most parents can't believe that we provide that. We also provide summer camp to our teenagers, and we provide a workforce development program for our high schoolers. We work with our young people all the way through, from kindergarten all the way to high school, and we continue. I'm proud to say that this summer, we'll have the opportunity to hire some of our graduating seniors into the youth development profession with us here at Boys and Girls Club. It's something that we as youth development professionals, for me, I'm always looking for the next Miss Dre in my program. I've had a few over the years, but I'm looking for that next New Bern or Havelock Boys and Girls Club member who will take the reins when I am done with that. Is there any questions on anything that we've shared or the information you received?
Commissioner Mitchell.
What is the impact on the Boys and Girls Club on teen pregnancy, drug abuse, and graduation?
For us, we are 100%, I'm proud to say that 100%, we have not seen, and I'm 24 years in my career, we have not had any pregnancies for our regular attending Boys and Girls Club members. With drug use, we have programs such as our Smart Moves program, which we implement every year with all of our members, where it gives them the resiliency and the tools in which, when they're in situations, how to say no or make better choices. We give them choices, and we believe that if we see a Boys and Girls Club member at least 3 days a week, we can have an impact on them. But again, I stand here where my career started in Craven County, and 24 years back and forth, the majority of it here, we have not had a pregnancy of an active Boys and Girls Club member. And for the drug program, for drugs, we do not, I can't give you any, we just don't see it, because we provide options for our young people to keep them busy. Anything from athletics to community service to club involvement, and then the programs are continuous. All of the funding helps us implement these programs and enhance the program. Each year, we plan for the child that walks into our club as a 6th grader and will graduate as a 12th grader. So we enhance those programs because they sit through these programs every year. At least 12 sessions of our Smart Moves program provides that information.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all do homework help, correct?
Homework help, Power Hours, the program is what it's called. Yes, ma'am.
That's all.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes, I want to follow up on Commissioner Mitchell's question. Now, if you have a child that happens to get involved in drug abuse or pregnancy, do you have a policy that says they have to leave the program, or how do you work with that issue if it were to happen? Are you prepared to work with that?
Yes,
Yeah.
Young people are our business. So if a young lady should say, hey, Ms. Dre, because they do confide in us, we are a trusted adult in their lives. I know me personally, I work with numerous nonprofits and organizations within the community, and we work in referring. We don't want to turn our backs, because a lot of times for us, for the young people that we serve, the Boys and Girls Club is probably the best home and the best place for them. And so a time like that, we're not going to turn our back. We're going to help them. And in most cases, if we're able to work with the family, we will send them and make referrals to other organizations and nonprofits within the community. And it's one of the things that, as part of my career, I make sure that I stay involved with what's going on in Craven County so that I can help support my unit directors in those clubs when we have these, if any of those situations, so we stay engaged in the community and those organizations.
Vice Chair Booker.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for what you do. It's an important asset to our community. I'm on another board that funds your organization, so I've learned in the last few years what I didn't know about the Boys and Girls Club. But I have one quick question, and that is, how do you've got, according to what I read here, you've got 51 members at the New Bern Teen Center. How do you get these teens, how do they find you, or how do you find them? How do they get to your organization?
So we work with the school district. The first relationship that we build with any community is with our local school district. Boys and Girls Club works best when that relationship is solid. So through Craven County School District, we get information out to our parents. We also use social media. I coached basketball at Havelock High School a couple years back as a unit director at the Havelock Club. So because I've been here for a while, again, we stay involved in the community. So every opportunity, so you'll see me or my staff in numerous community events and activities and the parades. So being out front in the community is probably the best way. And then honestly, our kids and their parents are our best advertisers. If there's a great experience for a family with us, they go and tell, their friends who tells friends. But a lot of times, we send the information to the school district, we use our social media platforms, and then we provide, here in New Bern, we pick up from a couple of the schools. Our J.T. Barber site, we pick up from Trent Park and Oaks Road, and then we pick up from the high school, and both middle schools as well. We're limited.
You say, excuse me, you go get them and
Yes,
bring
sir.
them to the club?
Yes. So this is why the funding that you provide us is important, because they're not paying for that transportation. It's all part of that $25 that they were charged when they registered. It includes them getting picked up from school if they're at any of those schools, coming to the club, and parents pick them up at 6 o'clock or 7 from us. But families, social media, and also the school districts, and us being present in the community, attending and supporting other organizations. A lot of times, they call, I work closely with DSS because we know what we provide helps those counselors and those workers there. They literally have my phone, my phone number to call and say, hey, I have a family, mom's trying to get back to work here, what can we do? It's, I make a special registration and orientation for those families. So we do what we need to get.
Commissioner Howard.
Comment and question. I spent 2 summers at a Boys and Girls Club in Rockingham County, North Carolina. So I appreciate what you do. Very good harbor for kids. I made a lot of friends, learned a lot of lessons at the Boys and Girls Club. My question is, there was a since you guys brought up the pregnancy topic, there was a controversial figure with the school district and the Duke sex ed program.
Yes, sir.
That I was told that left the school district and is now working for you guys. Is that the
It
case?
doesn't work for us. So, Miss Hunter, that program, even prior, the history of that program, it was ran in the school district for 11 years. When we opened the New Bern Teen Center, I met her through other community contacts. That program actually has been ran in conjunction with our very own Boys and Girls Club program at the club for at least 4 summers. We were able to serve numerous young people to get that information. Everything is the parents have the option of opting out. So all of our Boys and Girls Club parents was given the information, and they made the decision if they wanted. All of our programs are like that. She's been a volunteer with our organization for numerous years. And so the program, we had already talked about implementing the program at Boys and Girls Club. And so the program continues to be. So she's not with us because of what happened to the school. It's just a continued relationship. We have a lot of different Duke entities that work with us across the board here in Craven and Carteret County, and she's one of the many Duke programs that's here. That program is funded for Craven County, and it's us trying to do our part to get that information to the young people and the families that need it most.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, who sponsors Besides Craven County, who supports the,
We solicit numerous, so off my head, I know our STEM program for STEM and STEAM to bring those programs, we have funding from Bosch. So there's numerous entities that sponsor. We do have some from North Carolina Coastal Federation. So just, there's quite a few funding sources. What we try to do is make it specific to programming so that the funding is used to enhance those programs.
does the other two counties that are involved sponsor it?
Yes, all of our counties, in the 7 counties, all of our counties are sponsored locally and by organization industries. And so it just depends on the, and then some sponsorship comes, we do get pass-through dollars from Boys and Girls Club of America as the umbrella organization.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions?
I do.
Mr. Hunt, yes.
Can you expound upon the homework help that the kids received? How do you do that?
So with homework help, we're not a tutoring program, and we do have our limitations. So with homework, the kids come in, we cannot force them to do homework, but we provide them the opportunities. One of the, at the Havelock unit, because it's a standalone club, they have access to the technology. So we do have Chromebooks. That was done through our Bosch funding. We were able to get the technology there. Unfortunately, in New Bern, our J.T. Barber members, we do not have access to the internet or anything at the club, so we're still paper and pencil, but we have volunteers, staff members, even our seniors in high school, they get community service and club service hours through that. Once any member between grade 6, K through 5, or even the middle schoolers and high schoolers, they sit with a staff member or volunteer, and there's at least the first hour at the club is dedicated to homework help. They may not finish the homework, but they definitely will get some assistance, so there's less to do at home. And in some cases, they'll say, parents will ask, can we do most of it, because they're just not able to help. We are hoping in the near future to bring in what we have, our Club Academy program, and this is a program that Boys and Girls Club, we've implemented in a couple of other counties, where we actually have education directors assigned to our club, and their main job is to work with our club members who are not making a C or above average. They go into the schools, and again, that's where that school district relationship. So I'm hoping and praying that we could find a funder who can fund that for Craven County, because it is desperately needed. Our young people needs that extra help. We're doing the best we can right now with what we have, but a program like that will greatly enhance what they're doing at school, and also to help us help them in the after-school program.
Another question. Can you tell me about the different community activities that the children volunteer with?
Sure. Over the years, we've done Habitat for Humanity. We, every year over the holidays, because we are recipients of the community's goodwill, we go back and we lay the wreaths at the National Cemetery. We have gone into assisted living homes. And basically, again, due to community involvement, if there is something coming up, you know, a lot of times I will get us involved, especially our teenagers. Our K through 5, a lot of times they make thank you cards for a lot of our donors, and you know, so you may get some cards, but they love doing it, and they get community club service hours for creating a card and, you know, and saying thank you. But we do get into the community as needed. Yes.
One more question.
No problem.
Okay. You said that they receive dinner and a snack?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Hot meal, which is catered through a local company here that's verified by the CSCFD program. It's a federally funded program, and we sponsor, the organization sponsors itself. So every member that walks into the club each day, on average, at J.T. Barber, we've been serving about 45 to 50 meals a day, and at the Teen Center, 15 to 20.
And then Havelock, how many meals?
Oh, Havelock's is probably about 50 to 60 meals.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and that's on a slow day.
All right, any additional questions? Not, thank you so much for coming today. Appreciate you.
Thank you for the
information that you
opportunity.
shared. Thank you. Next, we have the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council presentation. We are honored this morning to have with us Ms. Jen Dacey, who's chair of that board and also a member of the Craven County Board of Education. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and members of the Board of Commissioners. Thanks for having me. I have an easy budget item for you today. So I bring essentially our funding at JCPC remains unchanged, and it's level, $320,335. These are all state dollars that you all keep for us securely here. Mr. Warren and his folks make sure that we're getting everybody paid the way they need to be. And essentially, funding levels remain virtually unchanged from last year. I've done one modification, and that is because the Volt Center wanted a little bit more money for supplies. They've been busy over there, which we love, and so we've moved $400 from our administrative funds into their line items so that they've got a little bit more money to play with there for resources. Happy to answer any questions for you all about that. All the programs are busy. We've pretty much returned to normal since COVID. And the only new item that I brought to you was a resolution that we passed at the JCPC, was also passed by Carteret County Board of Commissioners. And I bring it to your attention because it is an issue, I think, of concern for all of us. I've spoken with our legislators about this issue. As you all are very familiar, we're having great difficulty hiring folks in all areas of our economy, but especially, I think, in social services. And a critical error was made somehow in the budget at the state level last year, so that when the Division of Adult Corrections was formed, those folks all got step pay increases, and our folks in juvenile justice did not. That has led to a massive staffing problem in our youth detention centers. And in a somewhat related issue, you might have noticed that our sheriff locally has had to post on a number of occasions that we've had youth who have escaped from our transition home, which is operated here locally, not by the state, but by a private entity. And those folks are also having staffing issues. So the lack of staffing has resulted in our court counselors in our area actually having to physically go and man our youth detention centers in our state. That, as you might imagine, really puts the backlog of work with our court counselors behind, and so it has left our staff in the state severely short-staffed. And so it is becoming, I believe, based on what I'm hearing, a real safety issue of concern for both our staff and frankly, our juveniles who are in these facilities. So I think I'm hopeful that it will be resolved in the budget this year, and that will be addressed. Senator Perry's indicated to me that he's well aware, and the folks at Department of Public Safety are working on it. But this is a local issue for all of us, and we know that we've had some situations. I know the Dobbs home in Lenore County has had issues where we've had youth escape that facility and basically steal property and end up with new encounters with law enforcement. So that's the kind of thing we want to actually avoid if at all possible. So that's why we passed the resolution at the JCPC level and would ask you all to consider doing the same.
Okay, Commissioners, if we could, let's take this in two different motions. Let's first consider the funding plan for fiscal year 2023-24. Are there any questions for Ms. Dacey on that?
I move that we accept it as is.
Okay, we have the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second to approve the plan that they presented. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Now, next we would consider the resolution. In your agenda packets, you do have the resolution that Carteret County passed, and then also staff has drafted a resolution for Craven County. Are there any questions, discussion on this? If not, do we have a motion that we approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution, and that is in supporting the step pay and compression increases for the Division of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Certified Staff. We have the motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. I know our staff will appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here today. All right, next we have with us Mr. Stacy Lee, the Chief Officer of Systems and Operations for Craven County Schools. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you
Good
for
morning.
having me. I'm here today to request the approval of a reallocation of the repair and renovation dollars. And just as a reminder, we had a previous plan that the commissioners approved. And these are dollars that are allocated through the lottery funding, through General Assembly to our district. They're equally distributed to every district in North Carolina. And what we have to do is we have to build a plan of how to spend that money, to which both chairs have to agree to the plan. And what we're doing is, we originally had a placeholder in for a child care conversion at Newbern High School. We're going to forego that project now. We have more pressing needs with safety issues and things like that. So we're going to redistribute the $100,000 with your approval from the child care at Newbern High to a painting line of $50,000 and a safety line of $50,000. So we're requesting approval for that.
All right, questions for Mr. Lee? And I would just, again, recognize Ms. Dacey, since she is a member of the Board of Education. Y'all have signed off on this also and support it.
Right, my understanding is that this is this current fiscal year.
This is current fiscal year. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. Here are no questions from the board. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Here none. I'm going to ask for a roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunt,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes, thank you, Stacy.
Very good.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
being here today.
Thank you.
All right, departmental matters. The first item we have is a K-9 donation. We have with us Sergeant Harper. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I am here today requesting the acceptance of a donation of Canine Athos. Canine Kai, one of ours, retired medically back in February, had some teeth issues and medical issues there, and we had to go ahead and retire him. Friends of Craven County Sheriff's Office then donated a dog who was already certified, trained, and had a handler. So we were able to get that as a one package, and we are just looking for the acceptance of Canine Athos. We do not have to purchase any equipment. There will be no adjustments in budget or anything for the dog. We do not have to purchase any type of additional equipment or anything for the dog. The dog is a smooth transition, and there will be no having to purchase anything for the dog. We're using everything from Canine Kai, and it's able to be used for this dog.
Okay, questions from the board?
Just one. Looking at the documents, he's identified as both a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old.
He's in between.
Oh, 3.5.
He's about 3.5. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Howard.
I just want to make a comment. Officer Hopper, thanks for being here. Sergeant, I don't know if, doesn't matter, okay, for being here today. And again, just thank you for what your program does. Her and her husband were at Newport Middle School not too long ago, which is the school I work at, and giving a display of their dog doing a really complicated kind of attack maneuver with a guy with a uniform outfit on, where the dog can jump up and kind of grab at him. He was behind a kind of formation of officers, which I guess is kind of rare, because generally speaking, the dog doesn't want anybody in front of them except for the perp. So this dog lined up as an officer, attacked this individual that was, not attacked, but, did a whatever you want to do.
Apprehension, yeah.
Apprehension, and just a very neat display. Not only are you guys serving the community, but they're educating people about what they're doing, which I find remarkable. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Is K9 Kai the dog that I met?
I think so. The black Malinois.
Yeah.
Yes, very friendly.
Yeah.
Very loving dog. We hate to see him go, but he was a huge asset to this agency, and I don't have any doubt that Canine Athos will be a huge asset as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Additional questions?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and Commissioner Mark, Commissioner Smith, if you will, in that motion, second. This is to approve the donation and also of the memorandum of dispositions also. So, all right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Have
you
a good
being here
day.
today. Next item is finance. We have Mr. Greg Warren, our finance director. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I have one item on the agenda for the board this morning, and that is the annual audit contract for the fiscal year 2023. Thompson Price Scott Adams Company, PA, has submitted their proposal to perform the county's annual audit for the current fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. That proposed fee is $76,000 or $76,350, which is an increase of $3,750 or 5.1% over last year. This fee includes both the Coastal Carolina Regional Airport as well as the Craven County Tourism Development Authority. Both those, the airport and the TDA, will be charged out for their fees proportionally to the work that's performed on their audit. Staff recommends that the county continue to contract with Thompson Price Scott Adams Company, PA, for the performance of the county's audit for the fiscal year 2023.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Warren, staff?
Do you have any idea about how much the charge-out share cost will be?
Within the contract, the TDAs is listed separately. If we go back into I'll tell you 1 second. The airports is embedded within the county, so we'll do kind of an allocation based on an internal allocation. It's a little bit complex, but it's based on the amount of expenditures.
It's $26.50 for the
Yeah, that is
Tourism Authority.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you go back in the back, it's $26.50 for the actual audit and $250 in addition to assist in writing the financials, their particular agency.
Thank you.
All right, additional questions? All right, here no additional questions. Do we have a motion to approve the audit contract?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hear none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 7 is the appointments. You have there before you pending, current, and upcoming. Commissioners, do you have any nominations for any pending appointments? Hearing none, we will move to current. The first one you have before you is the Emergency Medical Services. Mr. Michael Bright from Township 7 EMS seeks reappointment. Vice Chair Booker.
So moved.
All right, we have a nomination of Mr. Bright. Are there additional nominations from the floor? Here none, we will set Mr. Bright by acclamation. Next would be the Fireman's Relief Fund Board, Mr. Donald Heath, who seeks reappointment from Township 3, Fort Baumel. I would also ask that he be nominated. Are there additional nominations from the floor? Here none, we will set Mr. Heath by acclamation. Next would be the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. We will take them one at a time. First would be Mr. Jordan Sawyer. All of these, I think, seek reappointment. He's an attorney.
I recommend we reappoint him.
Okay, we have the nomination of Mr. Sawyer. Are there additional nominations? Here none, we will set Mr. Sawyer. Next would be Mr. Ira Whitford, County Manager appointee.
I recommend we appoint.
Okay, we have the nomination of Mr. Whitford. Are there additional nominations? Here none, we will set Mr. Whitford. Next would be Sheriff Chip Hughes. Do we have any?
I recommend we reappoint Sheriff Hughes.
Okay, we have a nomination of Mr. Hughes. Are there additional nominations? Here none, we will also set that by acclamation. Are there any other current that we have forgotten, Commissioners? Here none. You see there the upcoming terms expiring in May and June. Please take note of that also. All right, next would be the County Attorney's report. Mr. Grady. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I have one item for your consideration this morning. It involves the sale of county-owned real property acquired through the tax foreclosure process. The property is at 837 Pavey Avenue here in the city of New Bern with the parcel ID number of 8007097. We do own this property jointly with the city of New Bern, who's already given its initial approval for the proposed transaction. The offer is $12,333. The original taxes and cost of foreclosure were $6,210, and we have a tax value of $42,130. You have the information describing the property included in your packet. It is my recommendation that the board consider giving approval for this. We'll get it out for upset bids, and it'll be back before the board for final approval in the future.
So moved.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt a resolution approving the transaction, authorizing upset bids for parcel number 8-007-097. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. County Manager's report. Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Hope you all had a great weekend. I have three quick items to cover with you this morning. A couple of them for your calendar and a couple of them just to make you aware of certain situations coming up. First, I want to talk a little bit about budget. Staff is rapidly finishing that up. We've had some productive meetings over the last couple of weeks with department heads and outside agencies. At this point, I think, I'm looking at Craig, I think we feel pretty good right now with where we sit. It's a little early. There's still a few little outstanding things we're going to wrap up this week. For your calendar, just as points of order, on May the 1st, which would be your next commissioner meeting, you'll have both the Board of Education and Craven Community College presenting their annual budget request to you. We've had conversations with both those agencies prior to this presentation, so there are things already that we're working on in my recommended budget to you guys that will be coming forth again on that date, which would be May 15th. So that would be a month from today. You will receive the manager's recommended budget to you, which then is the catalyst for us beginning our work sessions as a board later that week and into the next week, working toward a public hearing at the first meeting in June, once you guys have been through it and made any adjustments you see necessary. So wanted you to have those dates. We wait a long time, then all of a sudden it's right there in front of us and we're ready to go. Over the last couple weeks, had several meetings with Mr. Jeff Wood. Mr. Wood's very busy right now. There's a lot of things going. Many of you remember his brief from our work session. I believe that was in March. And there's a lot of projects, a lot of coordination with the General Assembly to attempt to receive funding to get these projects down the road. Two projects in particular I want to mention to you. One is development at the airport. There's some available land that Mr. Wood applied for a Golden Leaf grant. He has received that, but there is some additional funding needed to get that site shovel ready, where we already have projects that are interested in locating on those acres. The second is a larger industrial park concept off of Highway 17 in partnership with Jones County. Obviously, it's a more rough project than the airport, where we would have to acquire the land. There's a significant amount of infrastructure, as Jeff briefed you at your last meeting, that needs to go in. But we're working with the General Assembly to see if there's available funding and programs that might fit the need for that. And give you perspective, there's some things Jeff's going to be talking to you about Lot 9 and 10 in our existing industrial park, but we're at the end of the road there. Once those lots are subdivided and sold, there is no more land in the industrial park, which is a good problem to have, right? But we have to look toward the future of where we're going to move to next, because the demand still remains high. And the last thing on some good news, and I don't know if the chairman planned on mentioning it, but Friday night we were able to attend the regional meeting for the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, where they bring their board of directors here and their executive leadership, and had a great meal with them, great presentation. They were very impressed with our convention center and with Craven County as a whole, and we were making the hard push to bring that annual conference back in a couple years and get those folks in the convention center like we did, I believe, in 2007, which was a big deal for us. So, Mr. Chairman, that's my report, unless there's questions from the board.
Questions for the county manager?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, Commissioner's report. Who would like to go first? All right, Commissioner Mark.
I attended a hospital meeting this past week. Nothing really was discussed of importance at that, other than nominations to the board. And then I attended a precinct meeting, which House of Representatives Steve Tyson presented the budget, the state budget, that has to go to the Senate and then to the governor for passing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioner Hunt?
No report.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, I'm planning a town hall on May 8th. And it is going to be at the senior center. It will be 7 o'clock in the evening. and I'm going to have several people from our county offices and related offices to speak. We'll have the Leslie Young to speak to revaluation. We will have the Health Department, Transportation, and I'm not looking at it right now, but we will have at least 5 departments to speak to folk about issues of importance. And so I do wish everyone in District 3 will come out and attend this meeting. It will be, again, May 8th at the Senior Center on George Street. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Mitchell.
I don't have a whole lot to report. I'm off my walker. I'm on to a cane now, so hopefully I'll be able to get out and about a little better in the next few weeks.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Howard.
No report.
Okay. Vice Chair Booker.
No report.
All right. I do want today, before we go and entertain a motion to go in closed session, I want to recognize our current Register of Deeds, Ms. Sherry Richards, who's with us also today. We will be discussing human resources, the request for appointment for a successor to fill her position later in our meeting. Before we do that, though, as we mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we wanted to move around our closed session. So at this time, the board is requested to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318 11A6 to address personnel matters. Mr. Grady, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, sir.
Okay. Jack, are we going to go into the room over there? Because we're coming back in here, or what you going to do?
Yeah, so let's go back in the
Okay.
room. Yeah.
For those who are here, we probably might no more than, I'd say, 15, 20 minutes. I think we'll be back in here, and then we'll handle the last item on the agenda. I do need a motion that we would go into closed session.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Mr. Grady, you want to report what was discussed in closed session?
Yes, sir. For the benefit of the public and the minutes of the record, we were in closed session to discuss a personnel matter as noted in the motion, and the board took no action in closed session.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, item 12 is Human Resources, the request for appointment of the successor to fill Register of Deeds unexpired term. Ms. Amber Parker, good morning.
Good morning, Board. The Craven County Register of Deeds, Sherry B. Richard, announced her retirement, and her last day in office will be June 30th of 2023, leaving a vacancy in the office for the remainder of her term set to expire December of 2024. North Carolina General Statutes 161-5 vacancy in office states, when a vacancy occurs from any cause in the Office of Register of Deeds, the Board of County Commissioners shall fill such vacancy by the appointment of a successor for the unexpired term, who shall qualify and give bond as required by law. If the Register of Deeds was elected as the nominee of a political party, the Board of County Commissioners shall consult the County Executive Committee of that political party before filling the vacancy and shall appoint the person recommended by that committee if the party makes a recommendation within 30 days of the occurrence of the vacancy. Long statute. Ms. Richard was a nominee of the Craven County Democratic Party for the 2020 election, and their executive committee has nominated Michelle L. Toth to fill the unexpired term. North Carolina General Statute 153A-92 authorizes the Board of Commissioners to approve the schedule of pay, expense allowances, and other compensation for all county officers and employees, whether elected or appointed, and may adopt a pay and classification plan. The Register of Deeds position is not included in Craven County's pay and classification plan. The board is requested to appoint Michelle L. Toth as successor to fill the Register of Deeds unexpired term effective July 1, 2023, and to set the salary for Ms. Toth at $75,000 based upon her qualifications and experience. Ms. Toth is the current Assistant Register of Deeds for Craven County. She is a certified Assistant Register of Deeds by the North Carolina Association of Registers of Deeds, and she has worked for the Craven County Register of Deeds office since October 8th of 2003.
All right, any questions for Ms. Parker from the board? Hearing none, Commissioners, we have been asked to appoint Ms. Toth as the successor to fill the unexpired term of the Register of Deeds effective July 1 and to set the salary at $75,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunt?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bucher?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes, congratulations. I would invite both of you to come forward. You might have a remark or two you might want to make. We'll give you that opportunity. Ms. Richards?
I'll go first since I'm going first. I just want to thank all of you for your support these last almost 17 years and almost 22 in the office. I have loved what I've done, and I'm going to miss it. But I know at this point that it's time for me to step away. It's time for me to spend more time with family. And I adopted a dog this weekend from India, three-legged dog. So I've got to learn to speak his language, or he's got to learn to speak mine. I'm not sure, but he just doesn't in his vocabulary. But anyway, Michelle's going to do a great job, and I thank y'all for appointing her.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Michelle?
Thank you for the opportunity. I will do my best for Craven County that I can do. Hopefully, it'll be a smooth transition between Sherry and I appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Look forward to working with you.
From me to you.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations again. All right, Commissioners, are there any other items to bring before the board today? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion. and
Second.
A second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.